I'm needing to catch a ride, but I don't know about from this guy. They're looking kind of sketchy.
What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm here in the shop getting a little bit of work done, getting ready to tear into the C20 project and get that thing ready for power tour. We got like 7-8 weeks to get it done, so I really need to get cranking on it. Today's project, however, is to get this car running and out of the way so that I can use this space right here for when I tear apart the truck. I have somewhere to put all the parts and pieces and keep them fairly organized. So this car has been sitting tucked away in the corner for over a year probably now. So it's time for it to get put out in the yard. Not like the paint's super nice anyway, so I don't think it's really gonna hurt it. Now we're gonna see if we can get it fired up. I bet it fires up pretty easy. These AMC straight sixes are pretty indestructible, so I'll just give it some fuel. I got the battery charger on it right now. So this is one of the 2 Hornets we picked up out of that junkyard in Colorado, in case you don't recognize it. Still got the Colorado plate on it. Under the hood is a 232 inline 6. As far as I can tell, it's completely original, down to the single barrel carburetor. There's no fuel in this fuel filter, which, you know, these little glass fuel filters love to cause fires, so we should probably change that out. But I'm gonna have to put some fuel down in the carb and then see if we can get this thing to fire off and pull some fuel from the tank so we can get it out of the way. It's kind of a cool little car. We've got center lines on it with tires that like to go flat. So I gotta get it off the wheel dollies in the back, air up the tires the rest of the way, and then find a spot to keep it out in the yard somewhere. We got lots of junk out here, that's for sure. One of my favorite tools for getting an old car running is as simple as this. Old water bottle full of gasoline with a hole punched in the top, and that allows you to actually fill up the vent tube, which is way nicer, because then you could actually get this thing to run for a minute instead of just running it off of what fuel you can put in the top of the carburetor. You get to fill up the float bowl a little. So every carburetor has this little vent tube, whether it's a 4-barrel or 2-barrel or whatever, and you can spray fuel right down it into the bowl. Works way better than just filling up your intake manifold with gasoline. So, gonna get some fuel in there and then see if this thing will light off. There you go. She fired right up. She's sitting here purring away, pumping its own fuel now, and she's working. So, gotta get it off the rollers and get it out in the yard and clean up this spot that is awfully dirty from it sitting here. But that was pretty easy. I love it when it works out that way. Here's a little mini revival for you in the middle of this video. This 3 on the tree is one of the sloppiest I have ever felt, but she's a ripper. Yeah, we're derbying this girl. Woo! Oh man. Well, there we go. She's running again. So, a little quick spin up the driveway and back, and then find a spot for her out in the yard. What a machine. And now that we got some room in the shop, I got to load up the Tundra with the trailer, and we're gonna go get a very important piece. Yeah, we need a bed to swap out the old regular bed for a service bed. So I found one sitting in a guy's backyard, and I think it's gonna do the trick. So we're gonna go pick that thing up. I'm sure it's gonna get a little sketchy loading it, but that's half the fun, right? All right, so here we go. Got an old service bed. It's sitting on the Back of an old Ford flatbed truck. It's got some stuff in it that we're gonna have to get out, but the thing looks super nice, honestly. All the doors work. I guess it was some welding tanks or something in there. It was last on the road in 2003, I think that says. So it's been sitting for a hot minute. Bumper's a little dented up. It's a hole-in box made in Griffin, Georgia. Pretty sure it's actually for a C20 or a C10, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think I'm probably gonna paint it white rather than leave it this greenish color, but it's a super cool box. I mean, there's drawers in here and stuff and all kinds of storage that passes all the way through. Yeah, I think it's gonna look killer on the truck. So I'm gonna climb up in there, start digging some crap out of it, and that way it's a little lighter when we grab the skid steer and start trying to get it down. Should be interesting. I know that much. Yeah. Alrighty, so got a broom and a rake, cleaned it out. I think there's a floor under there. I mean, I'm standing on it, so I gotta believe it, right? Got the forks under there. Got some boards. Hold it up.
Ready?
I think so. I guess we're gonna find out. We're gonna pull it forward and see if my makeshift boards are gonna do the trick. I think that's looking pretty good. I think that'll work. All right, now we're gonna strap it down, see what happens. So, let's see how sketchy this can get. Should be fine, right? See if it starts coming up. Well, it's lifting on your side. This side hadn't gone yet. All right, you got the back off. Is the front gonna go? It's certainly a little tippy.
Can you balance it?
There we go. Whew. Yep, I'm the counterweight here. If you've never been a counterweight in your life, you haven't truly lived. There we go. Hopefully the ground holds. Some finesse right there.
All right, I'm coming down.
I don't know. Let me see if I can let go. I think I can. Oh, I don't know. It started to tip. All right. It's off the flatbed, so that's what counts. Oh, look at that. We added the shelves for some counterweight instead of me being the counterweight. That makes me feel a whole lot better. It's only a little sketchy. As he's going back up a hill, it's definitely wanting to tilt. Little John Deere's putting in work though. This is awesome. All right, now to put it on the trailer. While his 82-year-old dad is over there welding a cast iron manifold off of a John Deere. These people are just cool. Oh, I think we're gonna be good. Come about another foot. That's probably good right there. You might have to back up a touch because you're right over the spare tire. You see the spare tire? You might have to go back a touch. Probably right about there. Let me make sure on this side. All right, come forward a little, right there. If you go down, if you go forward just a little bit, you'll be good. There you go. You can push. There you go. That's perfect. Beautiful. Now, all we gotta do is get it unstrapped. We'll be good to go. That was some fine operating right there. There we go, loaded on the trailer. We didn't damage it. And just like that, we got it loaded up. Wasn't no thing, no problem at all. See, it's there on the truck, ready to get hauled home. It's held on with 2 straps, that's good enough, right? 1 strap is like, barely holding, but that ain't going anywhere. Well, we're at the Davis family compound. I got the Service bed's still sitting on the trailer because I don't have enough room to pull the trailer into the shop and use the 2-post lifts to lift it off. So it's gonna sit here for now until I really need the car trailer and it motivates me to actually put in the work to get this off of the trailer, because I know I'm gonna have to put it on another trailer. Cross that bridge when we get to it, but made it home safe, no problem. How solid is that? Whew, good stuff. And yeah, don't mind the random junk sitting in the yard. Old C10, AMC Pacer, tow dolly, Jeep wheels, I don't even know. It's always something. Well, it's another night here in the shop, and it is officially time to get started on the C20 service truck for Hot Rod Power Tour. We got Moby supervising as always. He's looking mighty pleased with things, but made some room in here, so I'm about to get the truck back here by the lift and get the whole front clip tore off of that thing. Right, bud? Pretty exciting stuff. Here we go. Alrighty, so we've got the C20 in the shop, and I'm about to start tearing this thing apart so that we can start building it for Hot Rod Power Tour, which is 55 days from now. Sounds like a lot, but 55 days is not a lot to build an entire vehicle, and there's going to be a good bit involved in turning this beat up old pickup into a killer roadside service rig for Power Tour. And I need to take a second and thank all the companies who are helping out with this project. So we've got Holley Performance coming on board to help with the bulk of the parts to get the LS put in this thing, as well as fix up the front end and the interior of this thing. So they've got Holley Classic Trucks, Hooker Blackheart, MSD, Frostbite Cooling. So Holley's doing a lot to make this come to life, but we also have Painless Wiring, putting a brand new wiring harness in it. We got Item Metal Direct helping out with some sheet metal parts. We've got my friends over at Design Engineering Incorporated are giving us some heat management stuff, as well as stocking the bed with a whole bunch of heat management products, because that's the biggest part on Power Tour, is keeping your ride cool. And my buddy over at the Sweet Patina is giving us a kit to polish up this old patina paint, as well as, you know, polish up the stuff that still has a little bit of shine to it. We're even using some of their undercoating on the chassis, which they just released, and it's going to be a pretty cool product. So I'm going to give you a quick tour around this truck in its current state, and then we're going to get this thing tore apart and start getting everything cleaned up so we can start building a killer roadside service rig. So as you can see, this thing is old and tired. It definitely needs a bath. A lot of this is just dirt, but it definitely has its fair share of patina. There is still some decent paint here on the fender and on the door. We're gonna be replacing the entire front grille and using a set of Holley Retro Bright headlights on it. So this grille was painted silver at some point in its life, and it did not age very well. It's cracking and peeling. They even painted the core support and the horns and stuff behind there, so we're gonna have to clean that up and paint it black. The bumper's all bent up, beat up. It's a C20, 1982. I actually like the mirrors that are on it, so those are probably gonna stay. We're gonna be getting rid of the old 8-foot long bed and putting a service bed on it, so we can put a whole bunch of graphics on the side and stock it with parts and tools to be able to help people along the way. Being a C20, it is 8 lug, so it's got a set of Hummer wheels on it. I'm trying to figure out a center cap setup to make that look a little better. We're leaving the leaf spring out back, but we're putting QA1 shocks on all 4 corners. Down the road, there may be some QA1 parts going on the front, but they haven't released those yet, so that'll be a little while. Inside, it's a tired old truck. It's definitely worked most days of its life. Had a rubber floor mat down here. The seat is all tore up, but we'll be replacing that with a cover from Holley Classic Trucks. We're gonna be doing Classic Instruments gauges in this truck, and replacing the dash pad, replacing the rubber mat, doing new door panels, and making sure Moby has a spot because he loves car rides. The cool thing though that we're doing is we're keeping the SM465 Granny Gear 4-speed that's in here. So that shifter is staying. We are gonna have to swap the clutch pedal though because this has a Z-bar that works off the side of the block with mechanical linkage. And we're gonna be doing a hydraulic conversion on that because this old tired small block is getting kicked out of here. And as a result, we won't have a spot for that mechanical linkage. So it should be a pretty straightforward swap using all of Holley's parts. We're gonna be running the Terminator X on this thing and all of their Hooker Blackheart mounts. Gonna try to make it pretty clean and nice, but an LS with an SM465 should be a pretty cool combo. Keep some of the old school with the new school, but there's a little bit of your before, and now it's time to work on getting the after finished, but it's gonna be a good bit of work. So follow along as we tear this thing down and get it ready for Hot Rod Power Tour. And boom, just like that, got the whole front clip apart, both fenders and inner fenders, the hood, the entire front grille, the lower valence is all off the truck. And the coolest part about this is right now, this truck is still completely wired up and plumbed to where I can still drive it around. Sure, there's a bird's nest in front of the radiator. I actually avoided pulling this truck out of the yard when I first noticed this nest until the baby birds grew up and flew away. So they lived a long, happy life, I'm sure, but it's all the way apart. I got a battery ratchet strapped here to the core support. It's still hooked up. We can still drive it. I know Moby wants to go for a car ride. That's what he lives for. But it's really not that bad of a truck. I expected to find some rust down here and stuff because there's a little bit in the rockers, but it's pretty solid. There's definitely lots of surface rust, but it's a good builder. So this worn out old 350 definitely needs retired because it is covered in oil. It actually runs halfway decent, but you know, we need to replace it with an LS. First step of the project is done. Now, as you can see, here are all the parts I took off the truck. So we got the hood, the driver's side fender, the passenger fender, the front grille. The only things we're gonna be keeping out of this pile are the fenders themselves and the hood. The inner fenders are being replaced, including the battery tray with some parts from Auto Metal Direct. So gonna get these cleaned up, polished up, shined up. Next step in the process will be to remove this bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray some WD-40 on the bolts underneath and let it soak. Right, bud? Let it soak overnight, they'll be easier to take loose. Yeah, I agree. So now that we've got the front apart, the thing still runs and drives how I have it set up. It's a little janky, but it works. But now that we've got that done, we're gonna pull the old regular bed off of this thing so we can clean up the backside of the frame and get ready for the service bed to go on this truck. So this bed hasn't been off the truck in 40 years. So I imagine it's not gonna be the easiest thing in the world. But I've got the truck on the lift, so I'll be able to walk around underneath it. That's way better than rolling around on your back. And we're gonna see if we can get this thing off. I don't think it's gonna be too difficult. The real question is what to do with the old bed once we have it off. I don't know. Do we turn it into a trailer? Do we scrap it? Do we give it to somebody? I don't know. We'll figure it out though. There you go, it's up on the lift. What's funny is you never really see these bumper stickers up in here unless it is up in the air. So I don't know if the guy who owned this truck originally was a farmer, but apparently they are the original environmentalists. And he also went to the Georgia Mountain Fair in Hiawassee, Georgia. Can't tell what any of these other stickers are, but it was bought new at Anderson Chevrolet. So it's been around. Blue Ridge, Georgia. I guess is where it came from. It's actually not in terrible shape under here. Obviously there's lots of surface rust. You know, it's dirty. The rear end is definitely covered in surface rust. We'll clean up these leaf springs and the rear end a little bit. I'm gonna be changing out the shocks for some from QA1. Yeah, the old exhaust is going away. We're replacing that with a stainless kit from Holley Performance. Getting a new gas tank. I should look at this drive shaft health. Maybe it needs some new U-joints. We'll see. It kind of seems pretty solid though. It drives good. No weird noises or vibrations. We'll clean it up and paint it at least. We are keeping the old SM465. Definitely needs cleaned up though. That thing is filthy. But we'll get that handled. For now, I'm gonna focus on removing the bed. So we've got some bolts that actually attach it to the frame. There's one there, one on that side. I think there's supposed to be one here. Oh no, it's all the way up in there. Perfect, really hard to get to. This one is not quite as difficult to get to because it's down low. And then there's a few more running further back down the chassis. We'll get that handled though. The truck seems pretty solid. I don't see any serious signs of rust. I have no complaints. Anyway, I'm gonna get after getting these bolts removed so we can get this bed off this thing. So sometimes you gotta get a little creative for these old bolts that have been on here for 40 years. So a cheater pipe helps a lot when something's being real stubborn, like this bolt right here. My goodness, that's tight. Whew. Oh. We're getting it though. Definitely got it to move. Oh no, I think the whole bolt is spinning. That's not good. Dang it. Can't always go smoothly, right? You know what's always been my solution when a bolt won't come loose or something won't move? You get a bigger hammer. And there's not many bigger hammers in the shop than an air impact wrench. So I'm gonna use it. See if we can get some of these loose, even though the top is spinning on a couple of them. Yeah, let's hope this works. I'm gonna go for this one first. I don't think we have a chance here. I'm gonna try though. Let's try a different one just to see if we get lucky. Nope, no chance. This is not going well. Yep, I think we're gonna have to drill them all out from the top. That sucks. Oh well, it happens. The bed floor is in halfway decent shape, but those bolt heads, there's one there, there's one there. I gotta drill those out so those bolts will drop through. And hopefully that does the trick. Cause this is not exactly cool. Not what I wanna be doing, but it's the way it goes sometimes. All right, I'm gonna try to break these off with a punch and a hammer. See if that'll do the trick. I think we're just about in business. So that's 2 out of 8, I think. So that didn't take too long. So I went ahead and drilled this one, and then I have a 3/8 extension. We're gonna see if I can do this while filming. There we go. Just like that. Another bolt sheared off. You can see why the drill bit isn't quite getting to the edges, because this is a square hole, and that's why they're spinning, because they're spinning these corners out of this. See, this one was still good actually, so I probably could have gotten that one from the bottom, but this one, you see how it's totally round? So that's what happens. These corners rotate inside of those square holes, and then you can't get it out from the bottom. So drill it out with a 1/2 inch drill. If you've got a bigger drill bit, use it. And then just a 3/8 extension with a hammer, and you take care of it pretty quick. just like that, all the bolts are out. Yep, not exactly the way I wanted to have to do it, but it did the trick. So once you figure out the right way, it's not actually that hard. Whew, that was a good bit of work. Now, we can flip this thing around, raise the bed off using the lift, and get it out of the way. So there is one more thing I need to do before I start raising this bed off of this truck, and that is to remove the taillight wiring because it attaches down to the frame, and if you just lift the bed off without taking this stuff loose, well, you're gonna destroy stuff. So you take the lens off first. It's got a couple Torx head screws. Set those out of the way, and then you'll need a Phillips. At least on this truck. Who knows if it's all factory, because somebody has messed with this thing over the years. How much of it remains, how it came from Chevrolet, couldn't tell you. All right, so you got those out. Now you can pull the whole assembly out, and what you gotta do is just twist and pull these connectors. And then there's a little ground wire that you gotta take loose. And once you get that off, there's a little clip you gotta pop off. Then you just stick this all down through the frame. So once you got that out of the way, you gotta unclip it from the bed under here. So don't forget to unhook your filler net. I just gotta do the other taillight and unclip the wiring harness from the back of the truck. And this bed will be ready to come off once I turn the truck around. In theory, and I think in practice, based on that, the bed is totally loose from the frame. So I'm gonna get this truck turned around, pull it back into where this is accessible by the lift, raise it off, drive out from underneath it, pull something else underneath it to take this off the lift, and then we'll have the bare open frame to work with. So it's gonna be a whole lot easier to clean up the frame with the bed out of the way, and we're changing the bed anyway. So this old girl, it's time to retire her. So she's saying sayonara, and we're making way for better stuff. Look how ridiculous this looks without the front clip on it. All right, so I've got a half-baked system going on here. Got a big jack stand in the front, some tires in the back. We're gonna see if this works. Hopefully those tires supported enough for me to be able to get the arms out. And we'll see how that jack stand works. And by the way, this is our C20 rollback that we picked up a little while ago. The thing is awesome. It's got a 454 and a SM465 as well, with a big aluminum rollback from Holmes. So yeah, this thing's very handy to have around. Look at that push bar on the front, freaking awesome. Well, it's another day in the shop, and my dad showed up, and apparently he's been doing some thrifting because he showed up with this Kirky race seat that he got at the Salvation Army for $5.
$5, can't beat it.
That's pretty good. Normally you pay $5 for like a sandwich. He got a whole racing seat.
It's a sign from God that we need to build a race car.
Yeah, so it's just gonna sit here for a while till we figure out something to do with it, but maybe we'll be building a race car in the near future. We already got a seat. But today, we're gonna do some more work on the C20. We kind of figured before we finish taking it the rest of the way apart, this is as light as this vehicle is ever going to be. It has no front clip, no bed, so it's basically down to its race weight. And there's probably not a chance of it doing a burnout once it has the service bed on it and it has a bunch of tools and weight in the back. So maybe we should try to do a burnout with it like this. And I think that's what we're gonna do today. So we've got it set up to where we can drive it. The wheels and tires are too nice to burn off, so we're gonna take these H2 wheels off with these nice BFG all-terrains, set them to the side, and if you watched the first video with this thing, you might remember the Trailblazer Regal with a U all-terrains. So we're gonna toss those puppies on there and go see if it'll do a burnout. I think it will. Yeah, I don't think you've ever used one of the lifts over here, have you? So that's his first time. Beautiful.
We have liftoff.
There you go. It's off the ground, so now we're gonna buzz these tires off with the impact, put the other ones on. So when I snap my fingers, these will be changed. And just like that, different wheels and tires. Not better wheels and tires. Wheels and tires, we don't care about. So they're on the truck, we're gonna drop it down. I'm gonna clamp the rear brake line off like you do when you want redneck line lock. Then we're gonna take it to the end of the road, see if she'll do a burnout. Yeah, it's not gonna look too great with this setup, but we're not in this for the aesthetics. We're in this for performance from this fine piece of machinery. Yeah, totally not just a worn out old 350. Oh goodness, we'll see what it does. The real question is it gonna burn both tires or is it only gonna burn one?
One.
You think it's only gonna burn one?
It's a C20, but it is not a positive.
I would tend to agree. It's probably only gonna burn this tire off right here.
The Regals.
Got Moby riding shotgun. And let's see how easy this thing fires up. It's almost a shame to pull it apart. It runs too good. Gotta love that power steering squeak. What do you think, Moby? You're just ready to be going for a car ride.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's fair. Famous last words.
A man and his dog.
The truck still drives normal. Might not look normal, but still drives normal.
Think there's hope for this truck?
Oh, it's gonna be a good truck when we're done. Will it do a burnout right now, though? That's the real question.
I think it'll do it. What do you think, Mopes?
So we're down here at the end of the road, which is our go-to burnout spot because our road dead ends. I'll put some water on the tires, give it its best chance of doing a burnout. The real question is, which tire is gonna light off? I assume this one, but what if it's both? So I might as well go ahead and put water on this one too.
We have a poor man's line lock on there. Vice grip on the brake line.
Should I start it in low gear or should I start it in first?
First.
Don't do the granny gear?
Nah.
All right, you ready?
Man, when I walked behind the truck, it was throwing hot rubber on me. It burnt my foot. I'd say it did a pretty good burnout. Man, when I walked behind the truck, it was throwing hot rubber. Yeah, I got rubber all over me.
Smooth.
And it burnt my foot. I was trying to hold the camera steady, but I think I got a little wonky.
Do a burnout in granny gear?
I don't know. Give it a try. Grandma would do a slow burnout.
Would idle into a burnout?
It's idling.
There's an idling burnout. Not quite as exciting as a normal burnout.
That's how Grandma would do it.
All right, get in. Let's get out of here. Oh, it's stalled.
What'd you think, Moby? Pretty cool.
Yeah, he's just happy to be in the truck. All right, let's go. So I think I'm gonna wrap the video up here. We have like 54 days to get this truck done and ready for power tour. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of work left to do. But you'll have to tune in next time to see where we're at with the vehicle and stay up to date on progress. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot and it helps support us doing cool projects like this. So drop a comment down there. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.